Okay, so we'll take a second to talk about this Trump panel that CNN put together and is just attempting to make them look like absolute morons. And the hack job that they did on editing this so you could edit out all of the rest of their responses so they can't even explain themselves just goes to show you how desperate the media is to make average Americans look stupid. All right? First off, Allison Camerata, your job as a journalist is to know your sources. This woman was badgering the mess out of the subjects on this panel. Well, who's your source? What's your source? Who's your source? Oh, a Facebook video? You guys use anonymous sources all the time, and you never cite them. And then the stuff that they gave you was completely wrong. The sources that told you what Comey was going to say before his congressional testimony were completely wrong. But yet you don't tell us who your sources were, because y'all can make up whatever you want and then just say, oh, it was from an anonymous source. So at least these people actually had a source, because then when you go look at the video, you were badgering them about the video that someone put out there saying that they saw these protesters both with KKK shirts and Antifa stuff getting off the same buses, and you didn't want to hear it. So then you start treating them like they're an idiot because they didn't get that piece of news from you. And you wonder why no one watches you. This is why. All right, let me ask you a follow-up question that any reporter in their right mind that had half a brain would ask, but she's not a reporter or a journalist. She's an agenda pusher. If these neo-Nazis and these just white supremacist idiots were as armed and lethal as they are having you believe, and as violent as they would have you believe, and the mayor and the governor are on this same train, they were out there saying that that's the whole reason the cops didn't do anything is because these neo-Nazis and white supremacists were armed to the hilt. How come when the Antifa started attacking them, no one got shot? Now, there's two explanations for this off the top of my head. One, they weren't armed like you said they were. First off, if they were armed like you said they were, I'm sure we'd have videos and pictures on your news 24/7 showing us crazy white people armed to the hilt that are going to massacre people, but we don't see that. Or the second explanation is that this video out there that claims they both got off the same bus is true, because you know who you're not going to shoot? Somebody who rode on the same bus with you to the protest. Just seems common sense to me. But if these people are, these enraged white supremacists are so angry and they start getting attacked and they have a gun, they're not going to shoot somebody? That doesn't make any sense. And another thing that doesn't make any sense, since you're such a hard pushing reporter who can only push 6 random Trump supporters over here, why don't you get an interview with the mayor or the governor and find out who pushed the stand down order and who eliminated the separate areas for the groups and then pushed them both together like cattle. Literally herded them together to cause this to happen. Not an important question. We don't want to know who's orchestrating fake race riots. That's not important to you. All right. This is why I haven't even discussed this yet. This happens every time there's an election coming up, because every time there's an election, the Democrats have no issues to run on. They're terrible for the economy. They want to take over healthcare, which they've already they're on their way because they've ruined it with the Affordable Care Act. They have no winning idea. So what's their answer? Let's start a race war so we can get the minorities, which they view as dumb enough to fall for it. We're going to drum this up, and we're going to go with this. We're going to try to make this our winning ticket. They did it during the last election. Look at Ferguson. Look at what they did in Baltimore, Dallas. People get killed so they can win elections. But they're not even winning, so really they're killing people for nothing. And no one says anything. Well, Sessions better get off his butt. And And the DOJ better get off their butts, because you know what? It's a new era now. And no one used to investigate who was setting these up and not letting the police do their job. Well, guess what? We got new people in there. They need to get off their butts and figure out who's setting up this fake crap and getting people killed. Because there needs to be consequences. There's never any consequences for these people. There needs to be consequences. And Alisyn Camerota and the whole CNN, this is why you get made fun of at Trump rallies and everywhere else. Because you guys are pushing fake garbage. You and everybody else. It's not just you. Everybody. No, the gig is up. No one believes you anymore, because a typical person can ask a common sense question. I tell you what, right now, I carry 90% of the time. And if some freaking moron came up to me with a club or an object that I didn't know what it was and was fixing to start attacking me, I would shoot them without hesitation. That's why you carry a weapon, to handle situations when you are threatened or when your family or children are threatened. And I can guarantee you that these crazed, retarded, white supremacists and neo-Nazis are not going to sit there and be bludgeoned to death if they're carrying a weapon. It makes no sense.